get this book. It's awesome.
Hi,
Yay.
I'm Stefan Baumann. I want to welcome you again to another video. Today's topic is one very dear to me, and it's really simple. And I know a lot of artists, they have their list of their favorite things. And one of my favorite things in my paintings is the horizon line. And you think, well, that's not really that interesting, but believe me, it is. It's fascinating. It's in my book, and it's one of my keys. It's that important to know our relationship to our subject matter. So the horizon line dictates that. There's all kinds of interesting aspects to think about when we're actually thinking about a horizon line in our paintings, and understanding where our horizon line paintings will guarantee that you will make better paintings from the start. So sit back and watch another episode from the Bauman Book Club, which is actually free to join if you buy my book. And I'll talk to you on the other side. When we're actually like setting up a composition, you want to make sure you know where your horizon line is. Now, a lot of people, they feel that, and like Mary said, and it's very common because it's kind of the idealistic thing that we're taught early on, that the horizon line is where the sky meets the mountains. Now, for some of you, you go, oh no, I've read the book, I've heard you, Stefan, that's not true. But there's a big segment of the world that's actually what they think. The horizon line is actually where your eyes are in the picture. And it's really, really crucial to know that. I'm sitting on the edge of the Grand Canyon here. Now, the canyon on the other side is as high as I am. So we are like on the same horizon. So I'm actually like really high looking down. So my point of view is in the middle of the painting where my brush is pointing. But the horizon, as I look out, is way up here. Notice I put the horizon in. And by the way, this painting turned out splendid. It was really, really turned out. It's a really good episode to watch, especially how I manipulate paint. I think, we teach you things that you think are important to learn, and you try to look for the recipe. And, some of you are just addicted to YouTube videos, looking for the secret, the recipe, and all this stuff. But the real recipe in a painting is to literally be in the moment and making decisions while you're there, not trying to figure out, okay, well, how did I paint this in the past that I could replicate here? And that's a huge mistake that artists make when they go out to paint. There's no formula, there's no things. And if you watch the Grand Canyon episode, you will see that I take a different path on painting all the mountains in the background. And you'll sit there watching it develop without having me really go into nuts and bolts. It's just an organic way of working lights and shadows. And this is even before I really understood temperature. And a lot of people who watch my old videos, they go, you back in the day, you said that highlights are warm and shadows are cool. I said, yes, because I didn't know better. And I went through that for 20 years. After 20, 30 years of teaching that method, I'm sorry for all of you that were in my classes, I had actually educated myself. I actually learned the algebra so that I understand geometry. There's information you need. And that's the whole point of this book, is that we're trying to give you information that you need so that you don't have to wait 20 years to go, aha, the horizon line isn't where the sky meets the mountains. It's where I am to the scene. Knowing where the horizon line is crucial when we're setting up a composition. A lot of artists have their 6 favorite things. I have 13 and stuff, but you'll not ever see how important the horizon line is. So knowing where your horizon line is crucial, and especially if you're like in a place like a canyon, is that you kind of have to understand that when we're looking at a tree, and for the gal that was talking about the birch trees, this might be an aha thing, but it's important to learn, is that when we're looking up at a birch tree, and here's an eagle, we're actually seeing the under part of the branches. So when you're painting the birch tree, you don't paint the branches as if you're looking directly at them. You figure out where your horizon line is, and anything above that, you're going to be looking up at it, just like if you're painting animals. I cannot tell you how many paintings I see in major art shows that have animals in them, and the relationship of the animals isn't true to the horizon line. This is important stuff. When you are painting a rock or a car or anything. If you don't get that right, your paintings will look amateurish, just like if you don't get the secondary light on your painting will become amateurish. The horizon line is down where my eyeballs are looking out. So I'm looking up. So the point of view is I'm looking up at this. The horizon line is another picture below that. This is how an animal appears when it's directly in a horizon. Notice we see the same amount of back as we do front, where with the eagle, we're seeing all under. We don't see any back, it's all under. You actually see the back of the bird and the bottom of the bird, but not the whole section. So that's how animals appear. And I've seen buffaloes in paintings where the horizon line's up here and they took a photograph of the buffalo, either higher or lower to their relationship. So if you don't know where the horizon line is when you're establishing your composition, and you don't understand this principle, your animals and figures and cars and anything you put into that painting is going to look wrong. And then the third one here is if we're actually looking down. You know, we're not that high up over this dove. We're looking down on, so we see the top of the bird, not the bottom of the bird. And if you took this bird and stuck it into your painting and didn't have the horizon line correct, that bird would be out of place. Now, when you do a painting and set up a composition, that horizon line, you know, as we look out at things, is going to be pretty much in the middle of the painting. Now, what I just said was that horizon line should be somewhere in the middle. Now, don't confuse the horizon line with the point of view. Notice in this picture, the horizon line's up here, but she's looking down. And if she's looking down and this is what she wants to paint, the horizon line will lift up towards the top. But when we're looking at a scene, which is most of the time when we're looking at a scene, it's in front of us, especially in landscape, and the horizon line will be somewhere in the middle. And I know your mother told you, don't put anything in the middle of your picture, but guess what? That's how you start getting the relationship. And then anything that's above you, rocks and trees and branches, all have different shapes. And you've got to be aware that you're painting under a canopy on branches of trees. And if you have anything below you, you've got to realize that you're not looking at rocks, you're looking at the tops of rocks. So the relationship of all that. Then, you know, when you're designing a composition, you got to make sure that you break it up into the law of thirds, which is a simplified version of the golden mean. That's why you divide things by 1.618. But this is, you know, a photographer's thing's the law of thirds. And if you get that the light is coming in from the left, you want your main object to be on the right, but somewhere in the middle of the painting. If the light is coming from the right, you would make it different, but you always want to make sure that the object or the thing that's illuminated, which is your central focal point, be on the opposite of center when you're actually designing. Now, you can take the worst kind of painting and turn it into a great composition solely by moving the light around. And so all those people that talk about a Y composition, V composition, Z composition, all this stuff, no. If you follow my method, you will always be able to create a good composition. If you're aware of the horizon line and then the point of view of what we're looking at, and then controlling the effect of light, either from the left or to the right, that it comes in at an angle, that the main focus point is opposite to center. Light will fix anything. And I've done 40 years of fixing up paintings in my classrooms where I would teach students over and over and over and work on these paintings. And they would start off with, you know, not even like compositions. It's just how you manipulate the light. Who knew that all this information you need to have when you're painting a painting, and you got to think about the horizon line and what exactly is the horizon line? But hopefully we've answered some of your questions. Now, if you want to get my book, you can go to my website at www.stefanbaumann.com, and there you can order it. And believe me, it's worth it. There are 400 pages in here, over 500 illustrations. And the thing is, it's not only good for just a field guide plein air painting, it is a must-have for even your studio, because plein air painting is just one aspect of painting, but everything that you need to know about painting nature is in this book, along with portraits and all kinds of things. This is an excellent book. But if you like kind of hands-on, give me a call for coaching. You're going to get better faster. And if you're really serious about painting, don't think you can do it on your own. You need somebody to coach you. Michael Jordan had a coach. Tiger Woods have a coach. You should have a coach. And I look forward to being your coach. Until then, always remember to paint with passion. And I'll talk to you next time.
As a beginner plein air painter, I've been struggling with a few things with my art and just couldn't quite get it right. It was always something missing. Got my hands on this book here, The Field Guide to Plein Air Painting, and I just skimmed through it a couple times and saw a bit about organizing your palette and temperatures. And it made a world of difference in everything it is that I'm doing now. So if you get a chance, go buy this book, The Field Guide to Plein Air Painting. It has truly changed the way that I'm seeing things and the way that I'm painting now. Get this book. It is phenomenal.
I'm Stefan Baumann, and I would love to introduce you to a new book that I just wrote on plein air painting. After 40 years, I finally sat down with one of the best authors that I could possibly imagine for this project and put together everything I know about painting outdoors. And this isn't just an outdoor painting book. No, these are techniques that you can bring into the studio, and they apply to watercolors, acrylics, gouache, and oil. You will be amazed at what you will learn with every turn of the page, every paragraph. We have worked through my videos, my information, my books, my blogs, and brought it all together. And over 2 years of editing, we brought it down to just the facts. This painting book has over 400 pages and almost 500 illustrations. If you see my videos and if you read my blog and you follow me on YouTube, you know that there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things you don't know that you don't know. I'm amazed at the quality of this book, the pages. It's a field guide. It's a book that you would take outdoors with you and paint on location. It's been organized so you could find your way through my keys. This book explains 40 years of teaching and knowledge one-on-one. All the information that I possibly know about painting is in this book. So run, don't walk, and order this book today.
Get this book. It's awesome.